So it's fun. It's like, it's kind of
so
like a
exciting.
dream.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're spotlighting the new age sensation, Mikey Madison, her upbringing, journey into Hollywood, and the newfound success that's making everyone take notice.
So it's been really interesting last couple of months. I've certainly never experienced anything like this before.
She's a twin. Born in Los Angeles to Michael and Tracy Rosberg, Mikey Madison didn't make her grand entrance into the world alone.
My brothers were so cute. Like, look at that little face. My brothers. I mean, I can't believe that.
She is actually a twin. In an industry that thrives on unique and recognizable faces, having an identical counterpart could have posed a challenge. However, Madison's twin is her brother, Miles, so chances are they are distinct enough to stand apart.
My twin brother would pretend that we weren't siblings.
Not much is known about Miles, except that back in high school, he apparently had a habit of pretending they weren't related. But as Madison's star has grown, his attitude has changed drastically. Now, he seems to be one of her biggest supporters, even reportedly placing hefty bets on her securing an Oscar nomination for her performance in Anora.
How did you feel when they said your name for the Academy Awards for Best Actress?
I was on FaceTime with my mom, my dad, my twin brother, my dog, and my mom cried.
She was a very shy kid. When you think of an actor, shy is probably not the first word that comes to mind.
I'm very much so an introvert. I need that time to recharge and ground myself.
After all, performing in front of multiple people doesn't sound like the most suitable job for an introverted person, but there are clearly some exceptions. Growing up, Mikey Madison was considered the weird kid in school and struggled to fit in.
I was always the weird horse girl, and then I think at some point I grew into myself a little bit more.
Her extreme shyness made social interactions even harder. She reportedly found it so difficult to speak up in class that she had to mentally prepare herself just to raise her hand. But discovering her passion for acting changed everything. Madison threw herself into the craft and managed to shed her timid persona to step confidently in front of the camera.
I think at times throughout my life I've been quite passive, but I'm never like that with the characters I play.
She almost became a professional equestrian. Mikey Madison's life could have taken a wildly different turn.
I leased a couple horses. When I was younger, a pony named Tinkerbell, and then one named Bubbles. Cutesy names. Well, the barn that I rode at, all the pony names were either pastry names or some cutesy Disney princess name.
Although she began acting at a young age, Madison's first passion was competitive horseback riding, which she underwent training for, hoping to become a professional equestrian.
I grew up riding horses, and my mother was a horseback rider. My grandma was a horseback rider, and so I was too. It was just kind of in my blood. I was riding horses before I could walk.
Madison was so committed to this role that she asked to be homeschooled so she could devote more of her time to riding horses. But as a self-proclaimed all-or-nothing person, once she set her sights on acting, she knew she had to drop those riding boots by the barn door.
It was so hard for me to step aside from that, but I knew that I needed to choose one or the other.
It didn't take long for fate to confirm that she had made the right choice. Both of her parents are psychologists. These days, it seems like every new sensation in Hollywood has a famous last name, but Mikey Madison is one of the few exceptions.
My dad is a psychologist, but he's an amazing woodworker.
Despite growing up in Los Angeles, she didn't enter the world with a foot already in the industry's door. Madison's family is about as far removed from Hollywood as possible, as both of her parents are psychologists. While her father, Michael, specializes in treating schizophrenia, her mother, Tracy, primarily works with children.
My parents are psychologists, though, so they are not really well versed in the entertainment field.
Given their profession, it wouldn't be a stretch to say that their expertise has helped Madison better understand human behavior and bring emotional depth to her performances. So while she's not a nepo baby, she might just have a psychological edge over her counterparts.
For whatever reason, it's easier to go to those emotional places within a character, behind the guise of somebody else who's not me.
She has no social media presence. Social media has proven to be very useful for many celebrities.
I'm curious, I know one of your resolutions will probably not be to start an Instagram account because you don't do that.
Not only do they use it to curate their brand, but they also engage with fans and learn firsthand how their work is received. Mikey Madison, however, has absolutely no interest in that. The actress avoids social media completely, preferring to focus on her work and maintain a low profile.
It's just not something that feels right for me.
When asked about this in an interview, Madison explained that social media feels inauthentic to her, and that she doesn't believe she has anything worthwhile to contribute to the online world. She also admitted to being a very sensitive person, adding that staying away from online comments is a way to protect her well-being. She got her big break in better things. Mikey Madison traded horseback riding for acting in 2013, appearing in a few short films. Her big break came 3 years later when she was cast in the FX comedy drama Better Things.
That was great, Mom. Just freak out in the store, why don't you?
The show starred Pamela Adlon as Sam Fox, a single mother and working actress trying to raise her 3 daughters in Los Angeles. Madison played the eldest, Max, a fiery and headstrong teenager whose tough exterior masked a deep vulnerability.
Mom?
What?
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 Mom, I didn't say anything.
Neither did I.
Then why are you mad at me?
Unlike many teenage characters in comedies, Max was a well-written, three-dimensional individual who had an often turbulent relationship with her mother. The role allowed Madison to flex her acting muscles early in her career, and while the show never became a mainstream hit, it served as the perfect launchpad for her.
I don't think I could do that.
Oh, yeah, you could. You're a lion.
I'm not a lion.
You are.
She worked with her idol, Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino's movies played a major role in inspiring Mikey Madison to become an actress.
I mean, he's my absolute hero. He's one of the reasons I wanted to be an actress.
Years later, her journey came full circle when she got the opportunity to audition for his film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, as a Manson family member no less. Determined to make an impression, Madison went all out, bringing along a bizarre painting and a poem dedicated to Charles Manson.
I went into the audition and I read with Quentin and I gave him this painting and I was so nervous.
The gamble paid off, and she landed the role of Sadie Atkins, one of the cult members who storm Rick Dalton's house only to be killed in dramatic fashion. Madison was part of a group of emerging actors in the film who quickly found major success, including Austin Butler, Sydney Sweeney, and Margaret Qualley.
This was a mistake. You should leave.
Way ahead of you.
George isn't blind! You're the blind one!
Her role in Anora was written for her. Following a string of supporting roles on the big screen, Mikey Madison shot to superstardom with her career-defining performance in the Palme d'Or winning film Anora.
Not too shabby.
What is shabby?
Oh, I'm just playing. I meant your home is beautiful.
Madison plays the titular character, a sex worker who marries the son of a Russian oligarch, only to see their fairy tale romance threatened when the news reaches his parents. It turns out Madison didn't even have to fight for the role, as it was written specifically with her in mind.
We set a meeting, had coffee, he pitched me this idea. At the time, it was more of a Russian mafia film, and he asked if I wanted to do it. I said yes, and he wrote it for me.
Director Sean Baker first noticed her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but became certain she was the perfect choice after seeing her in Scream. Judging by the overwhelming acclaim and awards buzz surrounding her performance, it's safe to say he made the right call.
You do not love him and he doesn't love you. You understand? That's in your head.
I can't wait to have Yvonne's children. In fact, I think I'm probably already pregnant.
She learned Russian for Anora. Mikey Madison may have landed the role of Anora without breaking a sweat, but preparing for it was a whole different story.
I think it's very symbolic as well, the way that she speaks Russian and how she feels about her heritage. So there was a certain level at which Annie needed to speak Russian, and she needed to sound a specific way. She couldn't sound like a native Russian speaker.
Since the character speaks fluent Russian, Madison decided to learn the language from scratch. This was no easy feat, considering that Russian is one of the most notoriously difficult languages to learn, especially in a relatively short period of time. On top of that, she needed to convincingly portray Anora's life as an exotic dancer.
I shadowed dancers, I went to clubs, I dressed up. It was easier for me to be more of a fly on the wall. In a weird way.
This meant visiting late-night clubs and undergoing rigorous pole dancing training. For this, she found a big supporter in her own father, who went the extra mile and installed a pole in her home to ensure she had the proper space to practice.
He installed it and he called me the next day and was like, hey, so everything's good. You know, the pole is installed in your living room. Just wondering, like, what is this for? Like, this is for a role, right? Is this for a role? And I was like, yes, Daddy.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. She pulled off a surprising win at the Baftas. Although she had won widespread acclaim for her performance in Anora, Mikey Madison wasn't exactly considered a frontrunner in the Best Actress Oscar race.
Is that understood?
Fine.
With no major wins under her belt, she arrived at the Baftas with little expectation of being named the Best Actress in a leading role. And yet, in a stunning upset, Madison took home the award, beating out favorites like Demi Moore and Cynthia Erivo.
And the Bafta goes to Mikey Madison.
It was a real Star is Born moment for the young star, who hadn't even prepared an acceptance speech. After being handed the trophy, Madison spoke straight from the heart, thanking director Sean Baker, giving a shout out to her mom, and paying tribute to the sex worker community.
I just want to say that I see you. You deserve respect and human decency. I will always be a friend and an ally, and I implore others to do the same.
What did you think of Mikey Madison's performance in Anora? What parts would you like to see her explore in the future? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
I am just really happy that we're able to bring our film to all these festivals and that people are really responding to it in some way. That makes me really happy.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.